Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Monday Memo. And some of you might be aware that there's currently a Rugby World Cup going on at the moment over in Japan. And the current champions, the New Zealand All Blacks, are looking to retain their crown. And there's a lot of good competition out there. But one thing that you might not be aware of the current world champions is that they've got one of the highest win rates of any professional sporting organisation in recent memory. And there's a number of things that they do culturally and from a mindset perspective that I believe we could replicate in finance so that we can become more influential and deliver a greater impact within our organizations. And the first one of those is what they call sweeping the sheds, where after a training session, rugby can be quite a muddy and dirty sport to some degree. The players go and get out of the kit and get cleaned up, and all the sort of the dirt and mud left on the changing room floor. Once the players leave, the senior players, the leaders, remain behind and they sweep the dirt up in the small piles in the corners of the room so that they could be disposed of easily. And I think when it comes to finance, we're sort of those, or we at least have the role to play in terms of sweeping up the dirt that's sort of left behind. And in that regard, I'm not saying that we should be looking forward to sweeping up loads of dirt. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be able to get our jobs done. What I'm saying that if there's any mess to be cleaned up, that's what we should do. And the aim really should be to prevent too much mess being there in the first place to be cleaned up. And we can do that by engaging with the business. For instance, let's say if someone is submitting an expense or entering into an agreement and they misclassify something or let something off a contract or something falls out of control, then we should be working with those people to figure out how can we help them get more within the controls and compliance, or adjust the compliance to cover up for those messes in the future so that they're not so much a mess but actually something we've learned and built into our compliance procedures. Or even if there was a deal that didn't quite go so well when we look back on it from a margin perspective, to actually go and take that learning into future deals. So using the mess as something as an opportunity to do things better. Another thing that the All Blacks have a mindset over is going for the gap. And in their context is actually moving your opponents from left to right, so creating gaps in the field that you can exploit when you're attacking them with the ball and trying to score tries. In our worlds, those gaps, I believe, refer to what we call have-want gaps, where our organisation currently is in a certain position and they want to get somewhere or want to have something. And those have-want gaps are problems or challenges or opportunities for us to go solve and add value on. And when we go for that gap and seek to close it, then we're in the process of adding value. And if we can make sure that those gaps align with the overall business objectives and shareholder value, then that will lead us up to definitely become more influential and deliver greater impacts in what we do. And the third area I think is more of a general one from rugby in perspective, and actually some other sports too, is that there's a position for everyone to play in the team. You've got props and the front row who are vastly different shape to say those backs that might be out on the wing, and they bring different strengths to the team. The wingers tend to be faster, the props tend to be stronger and are expected to hold things up. And in finance we've got loads of different functions. We've FP&A, we've treasury, general accounting, commercial finance. So even with the onset of robotics, coming into our workforce, there's a role for that, but there's still a role for us. In terms of, yes, some roles might be given over, say in accounts, to being done by a robotic process automation, but there'll still be someone required in accounts to check that those things are working properly. And new opportunities will sort of open up, so we can all sort of contribute to the success of the finance team. And there will be a role to play. The trick is figuring out what our strengths are, what we can bring to the table, and finding roles that make the most of our strengths and that align with the business objectives too. So I hope those three things made sense. If you've got any different ones, or would you even add any more, please share those in your comments that go along with the post. And we always appreciate when you recommend the podcast and the show to your friends and colleagues. We're on all the major platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube and Spotify. And we really appreciate you investing your time with us today. So until next time, take care of yourselves and let's keep on building our strength in the numbers.